coming up. But first, Tiger King. Yes, I know, last week. Whenever it was, whichever episode it was, I said, I'm not going to watch Tiger King. I know it's huge. That's kind of, I guess, a personality defect with me, if you will. If something's very big in pop culture, I try to avoid it because I feel like I'm being peer pressured. I didn't watch Breaking Bad till the very end and binge watched it. Same thing with Game of Thrones. Uh, why that is, I don't know. As I mentioned before, one of the things I do on this show is comment on things in pop culture and to deprive myself. I'm using the word deprive a lot in this show to keep myself from checking out Tiger King or anything that's really huge in pop culture is kind of like shooting myself in the foot, to borrow a phrase. In any case, I really, to be honest, got tired of not getting a lot of the meme references and shit on Twitter. So that was one of the reasons I had to watch Tiger King. Plus, what I just said, it's, you know, I can't avoid pop culture things because I'm like too cool for that. Or, I feel peer pressure. I'm some kind of fucking, hipster doofus. Huh? Seinfeld reference? That's current, right? In any case, I did watch Tiger King. Look, I didn't have a lot of thoughts on it other than a lot of fucking trashy people. I mean, it's just a lot of shady, trashy people. And whatever correlation there is with between that and owning a lot of fucking animals, I don't know. It seems to be pretty high. But as I said before, Netflix and people accused making a murderer of this kind of the documentaries on there. They only show certain parts. You get the impression that they want you to get generally. Like with Tiger King, you can tell they really want you to think that Carol Baskin killed her first husband. They're really pushing that. There's supposed to be another episode coming out that's recorded with the Jeff Lowe, another dude in the documentary. If you haven't seen it, he says there's going to be another episode added. I don't know if that's true. Maybe there will be. Yeah, we'll see. If you have Netflix, you know how to work that. So anyway, a little bit about Tiger King, and again, I've learned when doing this show, my wisdom is not enough. We also need the wisdom of Cardi B. And is there really anything better? I think not.
You know, people are nuts, man. They're all crazy. I'm sure y'all got a story to tell.
In life, there's two kinds of people. Those on Team Joe Exotic.
My name's Joe Exotic, and this is Sarge.
And those on Team Carol Baskin.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens, it's Carol at Big Cat Rescue.
For rapper Cardi B, she falls in the first category. And get this, she may even spring into action to help her boy Joe out of prison.
I got these prisoner braids, but I'm still beaut.
Cardi is just one of the many millions of people totally fascinated by Netflix's documentary Tiger King, which is centered around the life of Joe Exotic,
the former owner of an exotic animal park in Oklahoma.
He's currently serving a 22-year prison sentence after he was found guilty for killing 5 tigers, plus 17 wildlife violations, and a murder-for-hire plot against his longtime nemesis, Carol Baskin, who owns Big Cat Rescue.
They have a heart and a soul and a mind. I've learned from them. But Carol Baskin keeps saying, I can't have these tigers.
If he ever had an enemy in his life, it was Carol Baskin.
Back to Cardi. She was tweeting up a storm about the doc over the weekend. First, she asked her followers for their thoughts, but she eventually showed her loyalty to Joe, tweeting Thursday, "Carol, you think you slick, bitch." And they did Joe so dirty over and over again.
This is my way of living, and nobody's gonna tell me any otherwise.
But the real kicker came on Friday when Cardi tweeted this: "About to start a GoFundMe account for Joe. He shall be free." And get this, when one fan criticized Cardi for still talking about the doc, she clapped back, "I stan him. Leave me alone."
Match.
Clap back and stan. Two awesome pop culture references in one fucking sentence. Look, and I don't know if apparently there was other video of Joe wondering why white people can't say the N-word when black people can. I don't know if that's changed Cardi B's opinion of Joe. As far as sides, I mean, I don't know. Look, if she killed her husband and got away with it, who am I to judge? I mean, really. I mean, fucking Joe did a lot of crazy shit. Joe is just the epitome of pure white trash. And white trash had a bunch of fucking tigers. And a bunch of cameras following him around. This would be somewhat what it would look like. I would have to imagine. Anyway, again, I don't know if Cardi B's opinion of Joe has changed. Or if she's still going to spring him from the joint.
Spoken, good looking, love to party and have fun. I don't think we're done blowing up today.
I don't figure you are.
Cardi is far from the only celeb who is totally hooked on Tiger King.
She stands him.
In fact, not only are celebs watching it, they're also pitching themselves to star in the eventual big screen adaptation. Edward Norton, Dax Shepard, Bryce Dallas Howard, and Jessica Chastain have all thrown their hats in the Tiger ring.
But you gotta check this out. Yup, that's Doc Antle in 2001 at the MTV VMAs, handling the tiger during Britney Spears' performance. Seems like the cast of Tiger King has always been destined for big things.
There you go. Fucking Britney Spears was hot. Holy shit. Anyway. I've forgotten how fucking hot Britney Spears was. In any case, the movie thing, I don't know. It'd be a really good movie. It's hard to get people interested in a movie about a story that they know all about. People know a lot about these people. Because the documentaries, like 45 minutes or 7 of them, there may be an 8th episode added. It's a lot of information on these people. Even when they leave stuff out, it's still a lot going on. And you're really going to be good with a movie. Why I'm showing this, I don't know. I just found it on YouTube, and it's Tiger King related, and it's fucking weird as fuck, and I wondered how high this kid's parents were while they were doing this. My guess is probably pretty fucking high. Anyway, here it is.
Joe Exotic. And I ain't putting on no suit, I ain't cutting my hair, and I'm broke as crap. These animal rights people saying I can't have my tigers. You ain't taking my tigers, Carol Baskin. I'm never gonna financially...
Listen, if he would have got up right then and pulled out that gun and said, guess what, motherfucker? I would have lost my shit. I would have been LOLing and LMAOing all over the fucking place.
Recover from this. I love...
If you're not watching the video version of this, they dressed up their dogs like tigers. A lot went into this. A lot went into this video. I mean, I know people are bored, people are in quarantine and self-isolation or whatnot. And it's really showing itself in the amount of produced content that's coming out from people all over the world.
Come on, baby tigers. I would check the septic tank for Don. Carol's a husband killer. Please like and share. Don't do drugs, kids.
So, there you go. As I said, probably ironic considering the amount of drugs that their parents are on while they're doing it. I did mention the video earlier, a Looper video. You know, Looper if you're on YouTube. And if you're interested in pop culture shit on YouTube. I did a video of things left out of the Tiger King documentary. We'll check some of that out. If it stops being interesting to me, we'll fucking move on. Go into the interview with Hung Young Terrorist that I did earlier tonight. But more on the Tiger King and some of the shit they left out of the Tiger King documentary, according to Looper.
In March 2020, Netflix debuted what might be its most shocking and binge-worthy true crime series to date. Tiger King tells the story of the rise and fall of Joseph Schreivogel, aka Joe Exotic, the charismatic proprietor of an exotic animal park in Oklahoma. But Exotic was more than just a zookeeper and a manager. He had a knack for self-promotion, positioning himself as just as much of an attraction as the close encounters with lions and tigers offered by his park. Tiger King describes in increasingly bizarre detail the complicated personal and professional life of Joe Exotic, which culminates in an elaborate assassination plot against Carol Baskin, a Florida-based operator of a wild cat preserve determined to get Joe's business, and others like it, shut down. It's also a story that involves other cat aficionados, polygamy, cult-like arrangements, exploitation, shady business practices, and accidental death.
I am never going to financially recover from this.
Despite 7 45-minute or so long episodes, filmmakers couldn't fit the entire story into Tiger King. Here are some pertinent details that didn't make it into the series. Joe Exotic is a serial monogamist, if not polygamist, boasting of his not exactly legal simultaneous marriages to John Finlay and Travis Maldonado. After splitting with Finlay and Maldonado's death, Exotic recoupled with Dylan Passage, but that's not the entire history of Exotic's many husbands. According to Intelligencer, in the late 80s, Exotic worked as a security guard at a Dallas gay bar, where he met a 19-year-old cowboy named Brian Ryan. They lived together for well over a decade, and were married at the bar where they met. Ryan was also around for many of the events depicted in Tiger King. He was there when Exotic's older brother Garrel died in 1997, and when Exotic opened the GW Exotic Animal Memorial Park in his memory. Ryan died in 2001, and according to zoo employees, his passing helped trigger Exotic's escalation toward colorful and erratic behavior. He also started spending a lot of time at a gay bar called the Copa, where he met his next husband, J.C. Harpence, who later ended up sentenced to life in prison for murder. After that, Exotic met Finlay, and while with him, met a young insane Clown Posse fan known only as Paul, and
ICP?
They all slept together in one big bed. Only after Paul departed did Exotic hook up with Travis Maldonado. Joe Exotic engaged.
So, that's a lot. He got fucking married to just about every guy I ever met. It seems like a lot of work and a lot of effort. But, you know, whatever.
He's in more animal-related shenanigans.
By the way, the Copa is a fucking awful name for a gay bar. So many great possible names for a gay bar. The Bear Cave, the Ramrod, the Poop Shooter. I don't know. The list goes on. Make your own list at home. It's fun during these times.
And cheesy stabs at showmanship than a 7-part documentary could show. One of his endeavors was a magic act involving exotic animals, which he performed under the stage names Aaron Alex and Cody Ryan. His assistant, Aaron Stone, was a...
Those names suck. For fucking magic names. Joe Exotic is a perfect magic name.
Guest on the podcast, Joe Exotic, Tiger King, and detailed some finer points and deeply unflattering moments from Exotic's magician stint. A big trick involved making a tiger magically appear on stage in a previously empty cage. A noisy explosion and some pyrotechnics provided the necessary misdirect. And those things also frightened the big cat, who would show up in the cage near the back, cringing in fear. Since seeing a tiger in distress could make an audience feel uneasy and make Exotic look bad, the magician decided to get rid of the tiger and bring in a sheep, which he spray painted black and orange to resemble a tiger. Not only did audiences immediately recognize the painted sheep for what it was, but it was just as scared of the pyrotechnical effects.
So there I am, hiding in...
He painted a sheep. Now, that would have been fucking amazing in the documentary. No... Oh, a whole episode should have been devoted to his fucking magic career.
a secret compartment, hugging a painted sheep.
Joe Exotic tried to be a lot of things. He was a zoo-running businessman, an animal handler, and perhaps most inexplicably, a country music singer who wrote and performed songs very much about his own life as a tiger lover, and a few of his own personal grudges, of course. Those songs, loaded onto CDs sold in his park's gift shop, all seemed so very personal, and yet Exotic had little to do with the enterprise, apart from the marketing. According to Tiger King co-star and Exotic's arch-nemesis Carole Baskin, those aren't the Tiger King's golden pipes. Baskin said on the Big Cat Rescue blog, Joe Exotic only lip-synced to songs written and recorded by Vince Johnson and Danny Clinton. But
Is she really the best source for that information? Can we verify that? That he's Milli Vanilli-ing his songs?
Also added that she has emails from Johnson and Clinton, the alleged real musicians behind those tunes, to prove it. While viewers get a large overview of most every person involved in Tiger King, they don't learn all that much about Rick Kirkham. It's shown that he's a former Gonzo reporter for the tabloid TV show Inside Edition, who went to work as a producer of Joe Exotic's daily internet talk show. Viewers are left with the impression that Kirkham largely stayed out of the personally and legally devastating events everyone else in Tiger King engaged in, not counting how an unknown actor, heavily implied to be Exotic himself, burned Kirkham's studio, destroying hundreds of hours of possibly incriminating footage in the process.
Boiling alive in a towering inferno of nothing but flames and fire.
What's not shown in Tiger King is that
I think it's really one of the most tragic parts of the whole thing is that the Joe Exotic reality show burned up and never came to light. I would have watched that. I've been watching his fucking videos on YouTube. This is bizarre. It's just bizarre. Fucking white trash guy who owns a bunch of goddamn animals.
Kirkham was a victim of a second mysterious arson, not long after he left the Joe Exotic compound. Kirkham moved a couple of hours away to Dallas and settled into an apartment, which caught fire when he was still in it. Kirkham was safely removed by firefighters, but his dog died in the blaze. Police never made an arrest for either fire. The third episode of Tiger King dives deep into the backstory of Carol Baskin, leader of the Big Cat Rescue Animal Preserve and subject of a murder-for-hire plot by Oklahoma cat zoo operator Joe Exotic. Viewers learn that Baskin's previous husband, Don Lewis, disappeared in 1997, and Joe Exotic and his associates believe that Baskin killed him and fed his remains to her beloved big cats.
So the whole world's wondering, would you actually grind your husband up, feed him to the tiger so there's no evidence?
Some of the details of his disappearance presented in Tiger King may raise eyebrows, such as a claim that Lewis tried to file an injunction against his wife after she threatened physical harm. But Baskin's side of the story reportedly wasn't completely represented, nor was Tiger King the documentary she initially believed she was hoping to make. Speaking about the filmmakers in an interview with Vanity Fair, Baskin claimed, "Their pitch was what they were trying to do was create the Blackfish of the cat industry." That's a reference to a previous animal rights-related documentary, an expose on SeaWorld that made waves in 2013. Baskin participated in filming for Tiger King for 5 years, even through the exploration of her former husband's death, which she says awakened a lot of painful memories. She claims to have fully participated with authorities in trying to track down Lewis, to no avail. She also shared her own theory on what happened to him with the Tiger King filmmakers, floating the notion that Lewis's secretary killed him. That's an interesting angle, but one Tiger King doesn't delve into, probably because it didn't have anything to do with cat people. Maybe one day another documentary will come along to dig into the aspect of the story a little more. Check out one of our newest videos right here, plus even more Looper videos about your favorite movies and TV shows are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.
So there you go. I don't know. Like I said, things get left out of documentaries. There's not unlimited time. Will there be more about this? I'm sure. Because this hit at a time when everybody's home and they're bored and they're on Netflix and they see this and like, oh, that's pretty cool. And there's so many twists and turns and weird shit that, they're interested. I find it interesting. I mean, it was hard to live up to the hype because I was late in watching it, but still, I would recommend it. Especially if you want to kill some time. Like, the fuck else you got to do? Besides watch this show. Thank you. Stoner Jesus Show Live, Chapter 3, Verse 22. StonerJesus.net, of course, where you can find all information on the show. Check out our sponsor banners there and support our sponsors. Coming up, my interview with Hung Young Terrorist. I am Hung Young on Twitter, a.k.a. Tokyo Cunt Punch. That's right. Hear about that. Hear about her being in a cult. All that stuff